Alright guys, thought I'd do a quick Twig brother vlog, just kind of keep in touch. Now these vlogs don't get many views, but it's all about communication, all about keeping in touch, and Mercury retrograde is very much over, so here's to better communications. And speaking of better communications, right, there's a thing going on with YouTube at the moment. Well, there's always a thing going on about YouTube somewhere in the world, because it's a very controversial thing, but in Europe there's a movement to get a European YouTubers union going, and I really hope they succeed. Actually, I really hope they succeed, because there's a lot of unfairness around here. But I'm afraid I've been in entertainment a long time now. My YouTube videos aren't doing all that well, but I've had a lot of success in other areas of entertainment, and when my YouTube videos don't do very well, as they're not doing very well now, I know what's happened, right? It's not entertaining enough. That's a very hard thing to say. I'm happy to keep going, because there's about 700 and odd people that regularly watch my videos, and it's great, I can do readings, so even for the smallest channels it's possible to sell something, with very low views, if you're kind of struggling to really get the views in, and you can't monetize your channel. But the bottom line is, no amount of forcing things to be fair is going to make for better entertainment. This is what happens with PBS, okay, in the United States. I just know it isn't anything like as possible excuse me, as the channels that are paid for by normal kind of advertising revenue. And people say things that way that need to be said, but that is already happening on YouTube, and I'm afraid if we get a union involved, and things are forced to go a particular way, and you start putting out the entertainment that by rights rightfully kind of, you could say, should be aired, it's generally going to drive the quality down, and people will just not watch YouTube as much. That's the bottom line. There are other platforms which are much more fair. Have any of you sort of heard of them? I mean, not really. I've heard of Vimeo, and that's very good actually in its own way. And there are a few rivals, but they never really take off. Something very like this happened with YouTube way back in, but it was about 2005. I joined eBay in 2003, and they changed the way feedback had to be left in 2005, and it meant that sellers couldn't leave bad feedback for buyers. You couldn't leave a negative, and actually really there was a lot of complaints about that wasn't fair, because you do get messed about by buyers quite a lot on eBay, and that was the case then, and it's still the case now. But eBay didn't seem to be doing anything about it. eBay didn't seem to care, and it was almost as if actually in those days eBay was being run by artificial intelligence, like the YouTube AI algorithm that we know is kind of working. And that really, well, those feedback changes made it a lot easier for big players like kind of Argos, the really big shops and stores that use eBay to sell. It made it a lot easier for them, and it made it a lot harder for people like me who are kind of selling small amounts of stuff just for a small business. Made it very, very difficult. And people complained, and there was talk of fairness and everything, and a load of people wanted to leave and join this other site called eBid, which has been there as a competitor to eBay really ever since eBay started. I actually joined eBid because it's kind of good to have your listings on as many different places as possible. In years and years I never made one sale on eBid ever, and it was the biggest, nearest competitor to eBay. How many of you have actually heard of eBid? This is the thing, and these various competitors that are springing up to YouTube, they're not really going to do it, because if you're kind of doing things out of the goodness of your heart, and you just want to share, and it's a social thing, and you don't really care about becoming a big channel and getting lots of views, well, one of those other channels would do probably just as well for you. But what's the point? YouTube will actually let you do that. It doesn't seem to be discouraging it at all, as far as I can see. Speech could be a bit freer, the algorithm hides certain things, but basically if you go over to another channel, or whatever people are going to threaten to do when they've got this union, then basically you're going somewhere where no one's watching and there's no monetization. So the whole thing about people wanting a fair level playing field and everything, then goes out the window. Because, you know, YouTube is its own boss. I don't know how it works, whether it's got shareholders, what, I've got no idea. All I know is that it allows me to reach really large numbers of people, and if it takes years and years and years and you're not getting very many views, I'm afraid that's just a fact of life. And so yeah, I hope this union succeeds, because I would like to see more fairness on YouTube, but you know, the people who run YouTube aren't priests. This isn't like kind of, you know, complaining to the Catholic Church or something. It's a commercial organisation, and it's going to do better, basically. It's going to do much better if things on it are entertaining. So I'm not going to join this union myself. I'm just, you know, going to try and make better videos. It's a very hard fact of life, but when you're working on the internet, very often there's an adage that very often applies to it, and that is, nobody cares, work harder. Well, I know a lot of you guys care about me, and I care about the YouTubers I watch, and it's not that nobody cares, but when it comes to actually trying to get YouTube to do something, I don't think they really care too much. I don't think they actually realise there's a problem, you know, because whatever the algorithm's doing, sorry, I've got a cat there. Whatever the algorithm is doing, YouTube is still getting lots of views. It's still the biggest thing by far. There are 3 billion YouTubers in the world, 2.4 billion Christians. That's how big it is. I mean, it's just like the biggest thing going. And I think it's a case of kind of fit in, or you know, don't fit in, but don't expect to make money out of YouTube. That's the bottom line. YouTube doesn't owe anybody a living. Nobody owes me to watch these videos. Nobody owes anything. All's fair on here. This is, you know, this is the internet, basically, you know. So I'm wishing YouTube well, whatever happens. I'm looking forward to staying here and making more and more videos. You might be sick of me making more and more videos by now, but that's the whole point. So you can watch what you want on YouTube. I watch what I want on YouTube. Anyway, right, I'm going to leave it there. Thumbs up, please, if you've enjoyed this one. Leave me a comment. It'd be interesting to have a chat about these things. Also, right, here's another YouTube moan. Don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell. Unfortunately, when you tap the bell, it will now give you 3 choices. If you can still be bothered and you haven't lost the will to live by then, please hit the top one. It tries to automatically make you go for personalised, which is the middle one.